Hey class, how's it going? Mr. Urso here. Great to see you here in our fourth week of class. Can you believe it? We made it to week 4. Awesome, right? I'm really happy. I think we've done a great job this week together, or I should say these last 3 weeks together, and I'm looking forward to a final week that's going to be just as good. Let's end on a really high note and really accomplish something great here, okay? A couple of things to be aware of in week 4, a little bit different than the other weeks, right? In week 4, we not only wrap up the course content by talking about sacraments at the service of communion, which include the sacraments of matrimony as well as the sacrament of holy orders. We also, in week 4, do our final exam, which is a little bit different than the other things that you've done so far. Kind of similar to the interactive exams, but with some variations. For more information on both of those things that I'm talking about right now, the week 4 content, which are sacraments at the service of communion, as well as the final exam, go to Shobi. I've uploaded all of the important information about those items on Shobi already, and all of your questions hopefully will be answered if you look at that, and if not, please, as always, email me and we can discuss, okay? All right. Let's talk a little bit about sacraments at the service of communion, which include, again, matrimony and holy orders. This set of sacraments is different than all of the other sacraments that we've just discussed so far, in that these sacraments involve a fundamental change of lifestyle for the individual who embraces what these sacraments mean and what they represent. Right? So for two people who choose to be married, their life was one way prior to the marriage, and now that the marriage is here, there is an ontological change that occurs, right? Their old self, to use, the whole notion of Paschal mystery here, the old self dies and the new self rises in the spouse, right? So the married man is fundamentally different than the man who is unmarried. Similar, the married woman is fundamentally different than the unmarried woman. And the perpetuality of this lifestyle, similarly, is reflected in what we refer to in the Sacrament of Holy Orders with respect to the priesthood as well, right? That once a person is made a priest, that person is a priest forever, right? In the mold of Melchizedek, as the ritual so prescribes and so forth, right? So that the idea is that, you can make a priest, but you cannot unmake a priest, right? Kind of like how you can baptize a person, but you cannot unbaptize a person. So these two sacraments involve a lifetime of service, a commitment that is made on the part of individuals to live a certain way, right? And the idea here is that in living this way, these individuals, they themselves work out their salvation, work out their relationship with God by helping other individuals work out their salvation and relationships with God, albeit through different lifestyle paths. Okay, well, in the quiz this week, we're talking a little bit about matrimony and marriage, so I didn't necessarily want to go into detail on that with regard to our discussion. So this is the discussion prompt, kind of like what we've been doing all week long. And I wanted to talk in the discussion a little bit about holy orders, right, and what we mean in the sacrament of holy orders. And when we talk about holy orders, we talk about the priests and priesthood, right? So I want you to think about the priesthood and how the priesthood is related to the rest of the sacraments. Right? How is it that a person who receives the sacrament of holy orders is related to the administration of the rest of the sacraments? Think about this for a second. Right? This is the question that you guys are going to be discussing on the online Google Classroom this week. What would happen if there were no more priests? What would happen if no one answered the call to holy orders? Right? If no one decided that this vocational lifestyle was a lifestyle that was for them, what would happen to the rest of the sacraments? And in particular, think about the sacrament of the Eucharist and think about the sacrament of reconciliation. As has been the case in weeks past, respond to that question. Again, what would happen if people didn't respond to the call to the priesthood? What would happen to the rest of the sacraments and so forth? Respond to that question on the Google Classroom and reply to the posts of 2 of your other classmates. And let's get a good and fruitful discussion flowing this week. We're almost there, guys. Let's finish on a really high note, on a strong note. And I'm looking forward to seeing this great conversation develop in the online forum. Have a great week. God bless. Bye.